guys, it's Kat from Kat's Cookbook. Thanks for watching. So today we're going to be talking about seed starting. I'm a very big proponent of growing what you eat. You know what goes into the food, you know what goes into the soil, you grow it yourself, so you know it's going to be organic and healthy. So a few things to think about when you are starting seeds. Certain seeds you can start outdoors. Certain seeds you can start indoors or outdoors. For example, zinnias. You can start them indoors if you want the blooms a little bit earlier. And then as the season warms up, as the soil warms up, you can go ahead, plant them outdoors, and you'll have a lot longer bloom time. Also, another very important thing to see is going to be on the package itself. You want to take a look as to the harvest time if you're doing, let's say, vegetables. If you have something that says harvest in about 85 to 95 days, such as these cabbages, that means that you can start them indoors. Now, if you see something that says harvest in 30 to 45 or 45 to 60 days, that means that it should be started outdoors, because by the time that you start them inside, you won't have enough time to transplant them outside for them to build up their vigor and for them to really grow and become absolutely gorgeous and perfect. So it's very important. Also, a few more things to think about when you are sowing seeds. It's going to be 4 factors. You're going to have soil, light, water, and temperature. All right, very important. If you provide the correct medium for these seedlings, they will grow. It's just that simple. And if they don't grow, it's okay. All the gardeners have messed up at one point or another, so it's totally fine for you not to have any of your seedlings come up because you forgot to water, or it's not moist enough, whatever the case may be, or there's not enough light. It's perfectly fine. Don't worry about it. You can always go and just get, seedlings that you can buy at whatever store or nursery that you go to and try again next year. It's okay. All right, so what we're going to be talking about is, what we're going to be working with today is I'm using this Burpees product, which is a seed starting tray. It comes with pellets. Let's see if I can get one out that look like this. All right. Now, these pellets look very small, but when you go ahead and put some warm water on top, they expand. It's really quite beautiful, and then you just kind of ruffle them up and you can put the seeds right in. All right, so that's your seed starting mix. Okay, so this is where your seedlings are going to go. This mat right here, it's actually going to be sitting in about 1 inch of water at all times and keeping the moisture into the seedlings. Also, you're going to see these right here, and there is a little container where I've already put in some water. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, and you don't have to get this particular one. You can get the basic ones. I work with both. You can get any container that you want. I love Chobani yogurt containers. I use them to start seeds all the time as well. Very comfortable, and hey, why not? So for these purposes, you're going to take a look and you're going to go ahead and put this right in. And then we are going to place our seed tray right on top like this. All right, so that's done. Now this is going to be your basically mini greenhouse. Once the seedlings are in, you're going to cover this up, and that's going to create that greenhouse effect that you need, which will work out for you. So we have 72 individual cells into which we will put seeds. We have 4 different plants that I'm trying to grow: cabbage, basil, marigolds, and zinnias. Zinnias are pretty. Basil, we all know and love. Basil is wonderful. You can make pesto, you can make all sorts of things. It's wonderful for a caprese salad. Cabbages, because I keep on failing in growing cabbages, so this year I decided to try and start them indoors and maybe transplant them, see what happens there. And marigolds, I absolutely love planting them with tomatoes because they give that little pop of color, and they also keep some of the pests away, so it's absolutely wonderful. And plus, when you see a vegetable garden and all you see is nothing but green, and you don't see the flowers or anything along those lines, together with it, I like to create a little bit of a difference in there, and it's wonderful. It looks much more like a garden than a production garden. Also, you're gonna have these little stakes, and what they're gonna do is we're gonna write down the name of each plant, and we're gonna put them in here. Now we have 72 72 cells with divided by 4, so you're going to be looking at 18 per each one. So you have 18 cells for, let's say, cabbages. All right, now when you're planting, you want to plant at least 2 seeds into each cell, and here's the reason why. If your seeds do not germinate, which means they do not start growing, then it is easier if you have 2 of them in there, because then if you have a 50% germination rate, at least 1 seed is going to grow. And if you have 2 seeds that grow, you can thin out the weaker one, and you'll be able to tell which one is the weaker one and leave the stronger one in there. So it's a much better case scenario. So if we're looking at 18 seeds, here's a little math there for you. So we have 18 cells. We're going to need 36 seeds per each cell. So take a look, we take a look and we see if we have 260, 150, 50, so we're good to go. All right, so to begin, what we're going to do is I have some warm water in here, and we are going to start putting in the water into each individual cell to go ahead and to let these bad boys grow. So, and as we're doing that, take a look as to how much water you need. You'll be able to see they're gonna start popping up, and you can add more water. You don't have to do all of it all at once. And just take your time and let it all go. Now, I'm going to take a little bit of time to do this, and when I finish, I'll be right back to you. All right, so I've gone ahead and I've started some of this, and as you can see, the little pellets, what we want to do is we want to put the water right inside and keep on going with it. And what it's going to do is it's going to absorb all of that water, and it's going to just pop up just like this. All right, so it takes a little while of time, so I'll go ahead and I'll probably just go ahead and fast forward it so you guys don't have to watch all of this. Now we're gonna take this handy dandy wooden stick, I have no other way of calling it, and we're just going to go ahead and go through each one and ruffle it up a little bit, just like that. All right, so as we're doing this, you want to remember to really kind of get it in there and really make sure that the bottom of it is also not all bunched up, because you have to remember that if the bottom is all compacted, then the seeds, the roots themselves have nowhere to go, right? So you're going to have a weak root system, and you don't want that. All right, so we're going to keep going. It might get a little messy, but that's okay. We can always clean it up. because I am that type A personality, what I do is I use this edge and I go ahead and I just clean it up a little bit, just so that I can see each individual cell. It's all nice and neat. Everybody's all happy and everything. And that way there's an even distribution of soil and everything. It also gives me another opportunity to take a look and see if anybody else needs a little help in there out of these cells. And that way we have everything nice and perfect. All right. So now that we are just about done, looking all pretty, it's time to start planting. So we're gonna start off. Now remember, we discussed 18 cells, so there's 6 in each column and 3 columns total. All right, so this is 18 and this is 18 and this is 18 and this is 18. So in order to have the correct distribution, you want to have 36 seeds. All right, so we're gonna start with cabbage. My nemesis. You're gonna go ahead and put just a few right onto your hand like this. All right, and you see each seed is going to look different. Some of them that are larger in size, you might want to go ahead and you might want to put them in a little bit of water, maybe soak them for 24 hours. Some seeds you have to scrape them. Some seeds you actually have to burn them. So it all depends on each seed, and the packages will tell you. When it comes down to these guys, it's very simple. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make little holes right inside, right here. And the planting depth is also going to be, you're going to see the planting depth on the package as well. All right. So as we're doing this, I'm gonna go ahead. Whoop, hold on. And I'm gonna take 2 seeds and just plop them right in there. And be patient with it. Let it do its thing. And if you're planting them, you know, if they're all right next to each other, that's fine. Don't worry about it. We're also going to be thinning them once the seedlings come out. So don't rush. Take your time. It's okay if they don't come up. Nothing terrible is going to happen. On top of that, we have 260 seeds in here, so we're going to be fine if 36 fail and, you know, the rest of them don't. So don't worry. And last one. Perfect. Now we're just going to go ahead and try and put the seeds right back inside. Try not to do it over the seedling cells, because then if one of the seeds falls in and all of a sudden starts growing, you know, your cabbages are growing out of your basil, then you're going to have a problem. So I'm thinking that we're going to make, this is the vegetables, well, basil is a herb, but hey, close enough. And this is going to be the flowers, such as the marigolds and the zinnias. So we're going to do the same thing with the basil. Now, if you take a look, the basil seeds are going to be a little bit different. There's 100 seeds in the packet, and they look a little bit different. They're more prolonged. The cabbage seeds had some reddish seeds to them. These ones are all pretty unison, pretty prolonged, and black. All right, let's continue on. All right, time to go for the marigolds. All right, so see, the marigold seeds are absolutely gorgeous. They're very distinctive, and you can see how there's a little bit of a white tip and a nice prolonged tip. It's absolutely gorgeous. Zinnias are completely different seeds. If you take a look, oh, I don't know what this guy's doing over here. That must be soil. But if you take a look, these are your zinnias. All right. So 2 in each one, and we'll be all done, guys. Okay, zinnias, all done. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to gently, operative word, gently. All right, don't go in there and start messing it all up. Just put the little edges all around and just kind of pat them in like you're tucking them in for their good night's sleep, for their little nap before they wake up. You want to make sure that all the seedlings are covered, because what ends up happening is that the soil is all around them. It creates that little warming, perfect little feeling for them. And they go ahead and they start sprouting. Perfect. All right, almost there, guys. Now, if you feel that it's very dry, you can go ahead and put a little bit more water on. I feel that this particular one is very evenly moist. And what you also want to remember is you don't want to make it too wet, because too much water will make the seeds rot and they will not sprout if they are not happy. All right, another little sweep through. Make it nice and pretty. All right, guys, so our seedlings are in. They're all nice and tucked in. Now we just need to make sure that we put our labels in there. Otherwise, we will have no idea what's growing. So I have right here, let me turn that around for you. I have right here made the labels, and I just used the black magic marker. And so we're gonna start with cabbage. And what I like to do is I like to go ahead and put it at the very end of the last cell of where it ends. So if, let's say, I only made it up until here, I would go ahead and put it right in here. So that would tell me that this is the very last cell, and everything to the left, that's all cabbage. All right, so we're gonna put that in here because we know that this was the last one. Then next one was basil, so we're gonna put basil right in here. Then we have marigolds right in here, and then we have zinnias right in here. All right. So all of these are in, and now we're just going to cover it up for that lovely greenhouse effect. And now you have a greenhouse in your house. All right, guys, so we've gone ahead, we've planted all of our seeds, everything is ready to go. We've covered it up to create that greenhouse effect. Now we want to talk about something very important: light versus no light. All right, and this is very simple. This is a very small seedling that is coming out, and you can see that it's just about an inch long. All right, now these guys are seedlings that did not have enough light. in the beginning, and then we did. So what we're going to be talking about is the different types of lights. Now there are growing systems out there, all right? They are, they can cost anywhere from $300 to $800. They're going to be perfect with heating pads and this and that, and perfect growing lights, and creating perfect growing conditions where you can even do that in your basement, all right? I don't have that. Now, if my family is ever watching and they want to give me a nice surprise, there's my birthday, there's Mother's Day, there's just, I love you, so here's a nice $800 growing system. I won't say no. I like surprises, as long as it's like, oh my God, it's a surprise, not like, oh my God, it's a surprise. That sort of thing. But in the meantime, up until I get one of those things, this is my solution. I think it cost me about $12 at Home Depot or Lowe's, doesn't matter. What it is, it has a little clip on. All you have to do is you can put it on the back of a chair, put it in, and the light itself is one of those blue lights that creates sunlight. So all you're going to do is just put it on top and create whatever growing conditions that you need. You don't have to spend the extra money. Now if you have it and you want to do that, by all means go ahead, it'll make your life a lot easier. But you don't have to do it. So in the meantime, this is what I use and it works just great. So guys, we've gone ahead, we've watered, we've gotten everything ready. We're going to put it into a nice bright sunny spot, get some light in there, and we're also going to be going ahead and checking every day, all right, in regards to if there's enough water on the bottom so that it keeps on feeding and it keeps on bringing up the water to the seedlings. All right, so all of that is done. We're going to be marking all of our seedlings as well, just to make sure we don't forget which is what. And remember that it might take 10 to 12 days for certain seedlings to appear. Now, parsley, for example, can take 30 days. It'll just sit and sit and sit and sit, and all of a sudden just comes right up, all right? And then parsley stays on in Massachusetts until like the end of November. It's ridiculous. So it all depends on the different types of seedlings, and your packages will tell you as to how quickly the seedlings appear. All right, so if you guys have any questions, comment down below, subscribe to my channel, I would love it, and go to my website, katscookbook.com, and hopefully you guys are going to get growing. Thanks so much.